Oops. There, got it.
I think we're all here.
Barbara, where are you?
San Diego.
Nice, looks nice there. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, wow. San Diego.
Let me see your t-shirt. Stand up again.
Oh,
You got the whale on there, nice.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. Thank you.
Great. Fran, you don't have your video on.
Oh, so I don't. Sorry about that. There we go.
There you go. Good. All right. I show it's
And we're all here. We have no guests.
great. I call the Nantucket Cemetery Commission to order for October, whatever the date is today.
13.
13.
13.
Whatever the date is. Unfortunately, my printer isn't working, so I don't have a printout. I have oh, here we go, 13th. I have to handwrite my agenda out here till I get
So
one.
Alan, I'm going to say hello to Ken Bogrand. He's just joined us.
Great. Welcome, Ken.
Alan, if I could ask to be on the agenda first, I am really jammed up and I've got a really very short report.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay, this is where we are. I've engaged an appraiser, and I've got a first draft of the value with respect to the two parcels. I'm reviewing that, and then once I'm satisfied with that, I'll share that with you and with the Rick Bodette. I've also got a draft of the agreement that I'm going over with taking a look at. I've got some questions on. I'll check on with town council at that. And once those documents are ready for review, I will get them to you guys so you can take a review and see where we are. I'm very encouraged that we're coming very close to getting this settled. It's been a saga, and it is not near the top of my list, but it is something that I want to make sure that it happens sooner rather than later.
Great.
Ken, this is Lee. I know you need to go. How far apart were the appraisals?
No, the point was that I was able to have an indication that the value of the properties were just about even with respect to what we're doing because of the fact of the use. There's not a lot of extra value with respect to the roadside value, but there is equal. The value with respect to the parcel in the back has attractiveness to the cemetery commission. So the valuation on the appraisal is going to be that the properties are fairly equal in terms of being able to have as a trade.
Excellent. Thank you, Ken.
Great. Thank you, Ken, for all
Yeah.
the work you put into this.
Well, this is something that it's one of the first projects that I had, so I feel sort of bad that it's dragged so long. But the fact is that we know the players involved, and so the fact that we're at this stage, I'm really encouraged that we're actually really close for the first time in a long time. So
Great. Good. Yeah, it's been over 5 years now since we first met with them. So
yeah, it's only 2.5 for me. So
I know, great. Okay, thank you very much, Ken. Appreciate it.
And I apologize that I have to hit and run, but
No, that's fine. That's fine. We're glad to take you at the very beginning. So
okay, thanks.
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's say I called the meeting of the Cemetery Commission to order for October 13th. Public comment, I see there is none. Any commissioner comments at this point? We may have some at the end of the meeting as well, but okay, good. Minutes from September 8th. Those minutes were distributed back in September. Any corrections or anybody notice anything with the minutes? Other than the fact that they're very well done, as usual. We're very fortunate, by the way, to have Lee as our secretary because the minutes are so timely and so accurate. I've really come to appreciate the accuracy of, or the importance of having accurate minutes of a meeting, going back and looking at history of, particularly on roads and right of way that we were just talking about.
Alan, praise will get you everywhere.
Oh, good. Well, I got plenty more of it, so, and I've been spreading the word too. Okay, minutes, I would entertain a motion then to approve the minutes from September 8th.
I'll move to
Okay.
approve minutes.
So moved, a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Barbara, second. All in favor?
No,
okay,
we're being recorded. We better go.
Okay,
Boys.
all right, so this is on the minutes from September 8th. Lee,
Aye.
Scotty,
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
and Fran.
Aye.
And chairman votes aye. So those minutes are unanimously approved. We have no lot sales to approve, although I'm meeting on Friday with two separate individuals who each want to secure a plot in Pulpus. So at our next meeting, we'll have those approvals in the pipeline.
Alan, you were going to get in touch with Gerhard, was that it?
Yes.
And
No.
that's gone okay?
I've got them
North.
here. Ledbetter and Brenizer. Are those the two?
No, Gerhard, I thought her name was. She wanted confirmation that she had control of a plot, I think in New North or Old North, not sure.
I remember that, yeah.
I'm
You've
just
written
trying
to
to-
her.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You've
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I did. She's the one in Old North. And we voted, or we talked about that at our September meeting. And I emailed her back. I sent her a copy of our minutes from the September 8th meeting, and confirmed. That's one of the things on my list. How do we, what can we issue to verify that in fact somebody has purchased a lot, particularly, if we have a record of it, as I believe in that case, well, we have the physical, the marker on the stone, so we know that that it was, sold to her. I don't believe it showed up in the Lewis records, though. Anyway, all right, well, let's do that one now, because that's sort of related to the Ledbetter and the Brenizer situation. So here's the situation with Mrs. Gerhard. She purchased a plot from Ricky Lewis back in who knows when. She contacted me, or she contacted somebody who got in touch with me prior to our September meeting. I emailed her. She knew exactly where the plot was. I went over to the cemetery, located the plot. It had the name of her husband on it, and so on. So she asked if she could be buried there. And at our September meeting, we agreed to that. So the question is there some form of ownership that we can send to her? Although when I asked her if she had additional family members to go in the plot, she said, I'm just trying to remember now, I don't believe she did. So it may be moot, but in the event that we get a future person who with the same situation as with Mrs. Ledbetter, who we'll get to in just a moment, what kind of proof can we provide to the purchaser of the lot when the lot was purchased before there was a cemetery commission. So that's the question. So let me go on to Mrs. Ledbetter. Now, this is the Swain Lot, and we discussed this, I believe, at our September meeting also. I spoke with Mrs. Ledbetter about a week or so ago, and I confirmed the fact that she, in fact, has rights to that plot. So there are two things here. First of all, what can we give her? Because she does have kids who will probably want to go into that lot. What form can we use to send to her so she has some indication of the ownership of that lot? That's question number one. The second question she had is how many inurnments can she do in that plot? So let's take those one at a time. As far as the certificate, any suggestions as to what we might do? Yes, Lee?
There are not going to be that many of them.
No,
And
correct.
I think a personal note on town letterhead, following some script that we use if we get more than one of these.
Mhm.
I think the important thing is if we do send a letter, that once we have staff support, we have a way to file it in our file of lot approvals. So I don't see the need for developing yet another form because I don't think we're going to have that many. But I do see the need for ensuring that whatever we do gets filed properly.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. Okay. My thought was, we do have a form that we send out once they send the check for $900 in, and then the DPW, Phyllis, by the way, our new representative on the DPW, sends out there is a form saying that you purchase lot number, whatever the lot number is, and the date and all that sort of thing. So my initial thought was we could use that same form, just change the name of the cemetery and so on. I think that she was looking for something for her children so that, 20 years from now, when her kids are ready to do this, she can call up the cemetery and hopefully our records will be good enough that they'll be able to track it down that way. But so any other thoughts in terms of recording those? I agree with Lee. I think that, this probably will not be a common thing, although we did have the George Folks situation. We did have the more recent one, Mrs. Gerhard, and I'm just trying to think if there was another one that we had somewhere, but anyway. What do you think of the idea of just sending them a modified or the current form that we use, only indicating the lot whichever cemetery it is and so on?
Alan Lee again, that would be fine. We produce them one at a time from a digital master, and so it's easily modified.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't realize. I was thinking they had a stack of them that they just filled in, but
I rather doubt it.
that's true. Good point. Good point.
Well, it's worth checking. Since I don't have my fingers in the office, it's worth checking.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that also. By the way, I've met now twice with Phyllis. Phyllis is the office manager at the DPW, the new person. I met with her and with Steve Anselu for almost 2 hours. going over what I felt our requirements were in terms of the process for recording our lot sales and so on. And then I had a subsequent meeting with Phyllis for about an hour. She had some questions and going over that again. So my fervent hope is that we'll be able to get we'll get that process down. And
Alan, what's her surname? Do you recall?
I'm sorry.
Phyllis's surname?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. She's from Nigeria, so it's kind of a. Let me just see if I can find it here on my computer. No, I don't have it right here in front of me. Phyllis, it's something like RAGUNU. That's what I'm remembering is being close to her name, and I'm not sure how she pronounces it.
Well, I'm going to hope that they've updated their website and I'll be able to find it.
Okay, it should be, because I have actually 2 email addresses for her. She initially signed it as RW, her last name, and then the newest one is just, I'm sorry, P, and then her last name. So,
Yeah, that's standard town
yeah,
format.
exactly. So anyway, she seems very competent. She was formerly over at the finance department, so I'm sure Brian is sorry to lose her. And anyway, she took careful notes as we were going over the requirements for recording these and so on. So I'm hopeful that we'll have her in good shape. We'll have our records in good shape. The main project that she's going to be working on, once we get the format down, she's going to go through all the lot sales that we had prior to that never got recorded anywhere other than in whatever records they have. By the way, they do have digital files supposedly of all those lot sales that we approved, the 100 and whatever. I haven't seen them, so I'm until I physically can see what they've got. But anyway, Phyllis assures me that they do have those.
Good.
So,
How many inurnments?
oh, that's right. Okay, but thank you. So the question for Mrs. Ledbetter is how many inurnments can she put in that lot? Now, this is supposedly one of the larger lots. It should be 10 by 10, I think, or whatever Ricky was laying, approximately 10 by 10. So I told her that we would discuss this at our meeting and I would get back to her with how many she can put in there. If we can get 4 in a 4 by 6 lot, in a 10 by 10, we could probably get at least 2 more in there. So I would say 6 would be a reasonable number.
At the Prospect Hill in St. Mary's,
Yeah,
if you have a 10 by 10, which is enough space for 2 caskets,
yeah,
you can have 4 cremains.
oh, really?
Yeah, but we have a different setup at Pulpus and different rules.
Right.
So, and it's a lot bigger space.
Well, not that much bigger. 10, well, yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right, well,
Yeah, it's 60 square feet as
Yeah.
opposed to 24. So yeah, exactly.
I'm going to suggest, Alan, that we go back to the regulations, the normal cemetery regulations not the special ones for Pulpus, and see what it says, and then tell her that that's what she's gonna get.
Oh, good. That's right. I forgot about.
Because we developed regulations in
Right.
anticipation of full body burials at Newtown.
Mhm.
But we said, oh, by the way, if you want to use it for inurnments, et cetera. So I think we can conclude something out of those, even if we have to modify a little bit.
Right.
I'll
Okay.
just like add to that, like, if it turns out that you're only allowed 4 spaces, because the other 10 by 10s, I imagine, would have accommodated the same amount of space. They
Right.
also are eligible to have the bigger headstones as well. Because we made the 4 by 6 ones
Right.
that had to be 18 by 24.
Right.
If it's a 10 by 10 normal, they can have the normal 1 by 2s.
Oh, I see. That's a good point. I did tell her, I told Mrs. Ledbetter that under the current regulations, the stone sizes needed to be 12 by 18 or 12 by 24 with 2 names and that sort of thing. I did tell her that they needed to be flush to the ground and good. All right, so
Alan, once again, the big issue is there's already a Swain headstone there.
no, there is no Swain headstone.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I was up there, actually, I was
Saw
up
you
there.
there today.
I was up there. Oh, how did you know that?
Neil and I were driving by.
I see, yeah. Yeah, I was up there this morning. We're going to put Libby Oldham's ashes in the ground tomorrow at, I think, 2:00, so.
2:30.
Hmm?
It's going to have to be 2:30.
2:30, right. Well, yeah, tomorrow afternoon. So because this wasn't worked out in advance, I decided to go dig the hole myself. She's just going to put ashes in the hole and no container or anything like that. So I got the right depth and all that sort of thing. And so good. All right, so I'll get back to Mrs. Ledbetter. Let her, I'll check our regulations, find out how many cremains we can fit in a 10 by 10 lot and let her know. So my thinking is that, 4 or 6 should do it.
My feeling is it might just be 4.
4,
Just to be consistent with all the others. Otherwise, the other people might want to say, hey, I want to put 2 more in. You know what I mean? So I'm sure the regulations probably say 4.
okay, that's good.
That's my guess.
All right, well, I'll double check that. And that brings me to the next item, number 7, Bill Brenizer, who lives.
Alan, you're skipping a bunch.
We were missing out on whale oil Gus. It's the highlight.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the first, I put that first on the agenda. Sorry about that. Or not first, but right after the lot sales. Whale oil Gus, sorry, let's go back to whale oil Gus. The inurnment is going to be on Sunday at 1:30. Lee and I met with Jeff Morash, the superintendent up there. We had located the plot. Once Fran had located the plot, identified the names and the plot and so on, I went into the Paula Leary book tucked in, and she had, I must have been an alphabetical listing or something. So I found the lot, or no, I found the lot number that Fran had cited. And Jeff showed me where that lot was. We verified it. There is a stone there with his father and mother's name
On the
on
same
the
stone.
stone. Hmm?
They're on the same stone.
Yeah,
Mother-
on the same stone, right. And then there are 2 stones to the side of it, and I don't remember the names that are on those, who they were. But anyway, Jeff Morash verified the fact that there is plenty of room there. And he is going to have his staff do the hole for the internment on Sunday. I was down at the town clerk's office this afternoon. I picked up the box and so I sent everyone, or I sent you a picture of the box with Gus's name on it. So I think we're all set.
What time on Sunday, Alan?
1:30.
Got it.
Yeah, 1:30 at Prospect Hill. And so Fran has arranged for music. She has Ray and Susan, the two, the duo, to do a song. I forget the
It's
title.
Whale Isle Gus's closer for his presentations.
Right, exactly. And then we have
Georgianne Snow.
Georgianne, thank you. Georgianne's going to be there to do she's a minister, or
Mhm. Yeah, she's an ordained Presbyterian minister.
exactly,
She'll do a committal prayer.
right. And the folks from the town clerk's office will be there. One of them has a potential soccer game, so she might not be there, and who knows who else might be there. A lot of people have heard about it now. They read either in the Nantucket Current or in the Daybreak Nantucket. Yes, indeed.
That's a great article.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Particularly the Current, because the Current had the obituary that Fran wrote.
Yeah, it's really
for.
good.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fran did submit the obituary to the Inquirer and Mirror, so we'll see in Thursday's paper, tomorrow's paper, whether that
You never know, you might get half the town there.
And I talked also with Brian Bouchard, who's the reporter. In fact, his last day is going to be the end of October. And I filled him in on the details of the story itself. And Fran sent him a copy of all the documents. So there should be something in tomorrow's paper. So who knows who will show up. But it's such a fascinating story. Everyone who heard about it, in fact, I had several people stop me and they said, God, I read about this cemetery thing, with Augustus, who's Whale Oil Gus, and all this sort of thing. So it really is an amazing story. And I think in a way, because of Fran's research and so on, that we've really brought him back to life. And what kind of thing?
So far as I know, he's still dead.
Well, true. Well, we can pretty much confirm that because I have the box with the ash, and on the bottom of the box there's a little tag that has the dates on it and so on. So
That's great.
yeah. So I will show up with the box on Sunday, and we'll get them safely tucked in up at Prospect Hill. So
Does Jeff Morash have the dimensions of the box?
yes, I described it to him. I told him it was relatively small.
So no surprises.
I know it was. I'm guessing it's probably 6 by 6 or maybe 8 by 8, something like that. So anyway, it's small enough.
Well, it's a great story, and Fran, good job.
Wonderful job.
It is. It's a great job. It just goes to show. And one of the lessons I've learned from this is how important it is to have documentation of these records. I mean, whether it's the burial records or whatever it is. So I'm trying to carry that message forward to Phyllis, who is working on this. When I spoke with Nancy at the town clerk's office, this was earlier this month, she mentioned the fact that there's got to be software available, to do this sort of thing. And she said she would take a look, see if she could find it. And I mentioned that to Phyllis and to Stephen at the DPW to, because it seems as though rather than them trying to invent a system, which they apparently tried to do in the earlier iteration of the Cemetery Commission, anyway, I'm keeping a close eye on that, and I want to be sure that whatever record-keeping format we use, that we're all aware of it, and that it's something that's going to be around for a while. So, okay, anything else about whale oil, Gus?
Lauren just told me that we have the proof done for the dates and the name for the stone, but I can email you guys that as a group email.
Oh, good. Okay, great. That's really nice, and it's really very generous. I mean,
It's all for a good cause. It's a great story. It's a good Nantucket story. And I was
It is.
thinking that the people in the clerk's office must have some kind of attachment to that box that's been sitting there for all those years.
exactly.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they do. When I was in to pick up the box this afternoon, I got a list of the additional ones that are still there, the ashes that are still there. Turns out that there are 5 that are named, that we have the names for. We don't have any other information other than their names. And then there are 3 containers with unknown ashes. So initially I thought there were a total of 6, including Gus. But apparently there were 9, including Gus. So that leaves us with 8, which will fit in the 2 lots that we set aside in Pulpus. Oh,
Lovely.
yes,
Looks perfect to me.
That's wonderful.
that's wonderful. That's great. Good work, Scotty. Good work. So anyway, so the next thing we have to figure out, I told Nancy that, I'd pick up the ashes, the now total of 8 that she has there. Once we figure out how we're going to get them in the ground. So the question then on that one becomes, with 8 of them, do we want to have a separate hole for each one, or how do we, I'm looking for suggestions as to, what we're going to do with them. Yes, Lee?
Alan, I think it's relatively easy in my mind. Of 4 separate holes in each of the 2 lots. One of the lots, they would all be named. The second lot, we'd have 1 name and 3 unknown.
Right.
And my logic is, in the unlikely event that we need to recover one, let's
Mhm.
have them separate. Unlikely event.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that makes sense.
All right. So then, all right. So the next thing is I'll speak with Stephen at the DPW to see about digging the holes. Anyway, one way or the other, we'll get the holes dug and so on. Yes, Barbara?
Do we have dates for their deaths?
No.
No.
No, the only information that they had were the names.
Can you tell us what the names are?
Sure. There is Madeline Burns, George Dupre, Kelvin Whitaker, Ernestine Rutter, Rutter, and Henrietta Napper, Napper.
Okay, Alan, I'm taking notes. I'm going to ask you to repeat.
Sure.
Madeline Burns,
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Malcolm. Malcolm Burns.
Malcolm.
And then
Yes, George.
second one was George Duprey, Duprey.
Okay,
Kelvin Whitaker, Wittaker.
Is that
Ernest
Calvin or Kelvin?
Kelvin, Calvin.
Is it
Kelvin.
WHI or just WI?
Wittaker. And then Ernestine Rutter, Rutter.
one more.
And one more is Henrietta Napper, Napper.
N-A,
Napper.
got it. You'll have a chance to review all this.
Yeah, and then three unknowns. Okay. Anything else about whale oil? Gus? Okay, we did Ledbetter, Swain Lot. I'm going to check as far as numbers there. Next to the the Swain Lot, excuse me, is the Brenizer lot. And there are there's Pepsi, and I think there are 4 burials in that lot. That's immediately adjacent to the Swain lot. And I got a call from Bill Brenizer, whose parents are in that lot. And he has children. And he asked me, well, how many more people can we put in that? So that relates to the what we're going to do with Mrs. Ledbetter as far as checking the seeing what the regulations say for a 10 by 10 lot. I told him I didn't know offhand, but I was estimating that would there be, depending on how many were there, I think there are 3 burials currently in that lot. That the total would be probably 6. And I did tell him that they would need to be flush monuments as well.
I thought we were talking 4.
Yeah,
No, we were.
Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. What did I say?
6.
Oh, no, 4. Okay. Oh, no, when I told him 6, I was thinking a total of 6 altogether. But so anyway, I told him that I would have to check with the cemetery commission because I told him about the Swain lot next door. And of course, he was familiar. He knew Mrs. Ledbetter. And because the Brenizers have lived in that Pulpus area for several generations, which is why all these folks know each other. I've learned quite a bit of history about the Pulpus area through the.
Well, you just have to be consistent in telling them both.
Yeah, no, exactly. Absolutely. So what I told Bill Brenizer is that I would get back to him once we had had a chance to discuss this at a cemetery commission meeting. So.
It's easy, Alan. We can sell more lots.
Yeah, right. I know. Well, I was a little concerned about, putting more graves up in the old section, but then it occurred to me, it's the old section and, whatever we can do to accommodate the folks that are in there. So I don't know, maybe the Burgesses will, anyway, we'll deal with that. So, all right. I'll follow up with Bill Brennheiser once I go through the regulations. And before I speak with either Mrs. Ledbetter or Bill Brennheiser, I'll email the commission here and tell you what I found in the regulations. If you can do the same thing, take a look at the regulations and see if we can figure out the correct number. So it's really odd having all these different strange situations come about. Fortunately, we've been very lucky in that we did find for both Mrs. Gerhard and for Mrs. Ledbetter, and also for George Folks, we found, we managed to pull that together. So we've lucked out so far. Okay, anything else on those two? The Swain Lot, we'll call it the Swain Ledbetter Lot or the Brennheiser Lot in Pulpus. Good. Okay. Now we already approved, this was for George Tom, the consolidation of lots at Pulpus. And at our last meeting, I think I'm not sure, I couldn't find a vote on it, whether we decided because we don't anticipate that this is going to be a very common thing, that we need to have a policy statement about it. But I think where we've already agreed to Mr. Tom, when I checked over who else had more than one lot, there were, how many people? I came up with maybe 4 or 5 different people who had purchased 2 lots. So anyway, I agree. I think we don't need a policy statement on it because it really is on an individual basis. It would depend on, how the lots are situated, and if they're like George Tom's, we already have a model in place. So
Yeah, I would think case by case.
yeah, exactly. All right, I just wanted to confirm that. Great. Okay, now cemetery. Yes, Lee.
Opening the door to regulatory change. We were going to do something with green burials,
Oh, right.
and I had a draft.
That's
So-
on the agenda further down.
Oh, under
10.
It is, okay.
under issues.
It is
Right.
number 10. It is number 10. I withdraw. Thank you, Fran.
Okay. Where was it?
Cemetery
so-
issues.
Split
All right,
roll.
let's do the cemetery issues first. I got an email from Libby, our town manager, and she pointed out that the fences along New Lane for Old and New North are pretty decrepit. There are a number of broken rails and so on. So I mentioned that to Stephen. Again, he's shorthanded and all that sort of thing right now, but my thought was that we had we went to each of the cemeteries and made a list, and I have a copy of those lists that we did, but that was some years ago. That was back when Bob Gardner was still on the commission. So my thought was that we might want to go back to the different, each of the cemeteries and develop a more updated list, let's put it that way. Yes, Fran?
I seem to recall that we have made a prioritization list much more recently than that, that involved and putting Old and New North cemeteries pretty high up to the top of the list,
Mhm.
sometime quite recently. Maybe Lee could help us with that.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'll check the yeah, I'll check the minutes and see what we have. I try to get into each of the cemeteries at least once a month, and as I go into each one of them, I sort of do a sort of mental calculation of what needs to be done. In terms of the priorities, I'm just trying to think of what we did at that earlier one. I know we've talked about split rail fencing along the side at Historic Colored Cemetery against Vesper Lane. I'm trying to think if there was anything else on the Historic Colored Cemetery.
There's still one stone that never got cleaned
Oh, that's right, the one on the
over by
yeah,
the hospital.
by the road there. Yes, I noticed that when I go by there. All right, well, I think the what we should do is we'll find that old list and then discuss perhaps at our next meeting the current priorities. And then what I'll do is let Stephen know what our priorities are in terms of the cemeteries. I agree that Old and New North, because they're highly visible and there's so much traffic on New Lane, that those, particularly the fence lines right along the road, would be good there. I know that there are other things in both those cemeteries. There are still some stones that are along the north side of Old North that are there's still brush that's in the way there, and there are other things like that. So anyway, all right. So yes, Barbara.
I thought that when we had Rob as the DPW chief, that he was going to do, I thought it was a great idea, a rotation. So every so many years, each one would get tackled.
Yes.
And I think it shouldn't be by an individual who's a DPW. It should be, a matter of rote. Okay, so that we have a progression and don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right, exactly. Well, that's part of the reason why I was thinking to update whatever list we have in place, and then let me take that list to Stephen as head of the DPW now and say, look, these are our priorities. These are the things that, and this is the priority order that we need to, we would like to have them done.
Right. So we could say, like, we know in 2022, it's going to be, Pulpus. In 2023, it's going to be New North, or, whatever.
Yeah.
It would be nice to come up with a plan.
It would be. Scotty? Oh, nothing. Okay. All right. So that would, I think that's the way that I'll proceed then. And as I say, usually what I do is, when I'm in a cemetery, if I notice something, I'll either email Stephen or used to be Rob. But yeah, let's get, we'll get a priority list of the most visible things that need to be done. We probably, can't jump in to get everything all done at once, but If we have a priority list, I'll get that to Stephen, tell him that it is our priority list. These are the things that we, the cemetery commission, feel need to be done in this order. So, by the way, I did follow up again with the signs for the Quays Asylum, so we can get that done. And I got from Ray Sylvia, who's the guy who does the signs for the town. I guess he's doing other things for the town. He's still doing signs, but he's not doing other, so anyway, he had written to Steve and I was copied on it. And he said that he would try and get to it as soon as he could. So I emailed back that, we do want to have a dedication for that wonderful stone that we have up in the Quays burial ground. Again, there's another wonderful story there. When I tell people, when I was in Pulpus Cemetery 2 days ago, there were two people that were in there, and their mother's ashes, I should say, they had scattered. And if you notice by the bench there, the stone bench that we have, there's some figurines and some stones and that sort of thing. They were the daughters of the mother whose ashes were spread there. And they were a little concerned. They said, well, I don't know if I should tell you this, but this is where we put my mother's ashes and so on. I said, of course you should tell me. And so she asked, well, should we do anything to make it legal? And I said, well, depends on what you want to do. Do you want to put a marker on there? Or do you want to just, apparently the ashes have been there for some time. So I said, well, if you figure out, if you do want to do something, if you do want to do a stone, let me know. I'll bring it to the commission and we'll figure out how to mark that.
I think we should encourage people to do that.
Yes, indeed. Well, that was my thought. I said, look, don't you want a record of, if you have grandchildren or great grandchildren who might want to, know where she is and so on. So I told her that, if you wanted to put a marker there with her name, we can, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to do that. I told her that normally when I go into Pulpus Cemetery, I pick up any trash that's in the cemetery, and the flowers, the plastic flowers that Mrs. Burgess puts in there, once I leave them there because they were the caretakers of the cemetery for, or at least they mowed the cemetery, let me put it that way, for a number of years. So, and they do come back periodically to the island. They have moved off island, but they do come back, and every spring there's some new plastic flowers. And so, as I say, at the end of the season, I go in and remove those. And I was going to remove the stones because there are some painted stones by the bench up there. Those were apparently done by the, I guess they were grandchildren of the mother of the two women who were up there that I was chatting with. So I said, well, those would have been the next to go. But anyway, all right. So anything else on the condition of the cemeteries? Any other questions or comments or things to come before the commission this afternoon?
Well, I would like to tell you all that we've had very positive response to the white lettering on the Myacomedy brownstone. People are very pleased with it. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for reminding me. I did.
I didn't know how I would feel about them being white, but now that it's been painted, I feel very positive, and so does Ricky Ramos and Lee Topham Ramos and a lot of other people who've seen it. And they were
Very clear to read.
Yeah,
and they're very pleased that it was done before Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Nice.
exactly. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was going to mention that, but I sent out the agenda before I got the picture. Again, good work, Scotty.
Well, it's just amazing what you can get organized when you're in Italy.
Yeah.
I have an item that I just remembered. The restoration project. The lady Ellen, who is doing the survey, contacted me, and she wants me to call her this week because they are booked to come at the end of this month.
Right.
So she's asked me, she's working on travel details, but we plan to be on Nantucket in the last week of October to conduct the assessment at the 5 cemeteries. Would you be able to have a quick call with us the next week to discuss the Cemetery Commission's expectations for the end product? We are basing our database on the scope of work on our 2021 proposal. So I would say my opinion is our expectations are that they come up with a survey of our cemeteries of what stones need to be repaired, what recommended repairs for each one need to be done, and that they need to be quantified and GPS location, like, so that we know where to go to fix the monument they're talking about. And that be true for each cemetery, so that when we decide and we have a complete idea of everything in each cemetery, then we can go to the next phase, which is actual repair. And we can do it this cemetery, this cemetery, this cemetery, or based on what they produce for us, we might say, let's just fix all the level ones in all the cemeteries. Because that'll make the biggest impact. I don't know, but we'll see what they come up with. But I just want to say what our expectations are and what Rob had kind of instigated in the beginning, what he was aiming for.
Is
Yeah, that it?
Yeah, you
Okay.
you have it exactly right.
Okay.
That's exactly what we want. So now will you communicate that back to the?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Great.
will call her, and she tells me that Erica is her new contact at the town.
Yes.
And so I will just tell her what our expectations are based on my experience with doing a previous renovation or restoration, and see if they have any new ideas. I'll let you guys know. Like there's someone who's talking about drone capturing each cemetery and plotting out that way. So I'll just hear what they're saying they want to do as well.
That's great. That's exactly what we
And
were.
I'm sure they're getting paid
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they've
they
been
are.
booked. Yeah.
Well, that's why they're dealing with Erica now.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, good.
We,
I'll email you and update you with what happened.
Right. Okay. Lee?
On the green burial issue, Alan, if you're ready for it.
Yes. Green burials. I'm sorry.
Okay, I am moving the regulatory changes for green burial in such a way that we would have an opportunity to look at the motion. It may or may not need a second, but I intend to attach the revised regulations to the minutes. And I think the wise thing to do, and this relates to Fran, is if there are amendments to the proposal, we deal with them at the next meeting and then approve the request for the select board to hold a public hearing on the revised regulations.
Good. Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, as long as we're going to have a public hearing to update our regulations, we should think about whether there's any other part of the regulations that are in need of updating.
Alan agrees. That's what I meant by, sorry, that's my old fashioned clock. That's what I meant by amendments.
Yes,
Fran is concerned about getting the correct name for the Indian burial ground.
right,
There may be others.
right.
And I think that it takes so much work to get a public hearing that let's do them all.
Exactly.
Or at least all that we can think of.
Can we at the same public hearing finally settle that little piece of land on the side of Newtown Cemetery?
Oh,
We've been waiting forever for a hearing for a moment with the select board. We keep being told it's very low on their priorities, and it would be so good to get it out of the way.
right, right.
Okay. Fran raises an important point. I was thinking that once Ken gets Pulpus out of the way, we jump on him and say, and now let's do Newtown.
Yes, right,
Because it's in the hands of the town council.
right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, because that would be great to finally get that done, so we can, good. Okay, so that, let me make a note of that. And, all right, so that'll be on our next agenda. Good. Okay, is there anything else to come before the commission this afternoon? Seeing nothing? Yes, Barbara?
Alan, I just want to say I won't be able to be at the next meeting.
Oh, right. Where are you traveling to this time?
We'll be in Washington then, and I'm sure I won't have the time.
Yeah, great. Good. Well, I hope it's going to be a fun trip. I hope you get, great, good. And of course, we'll keep you posted. You'll get our minutes and all that sort of thing. So
I feel quite connected.
excellent.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you having a good time there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll make you all jealous.
I know. Give us one more
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Okay, well then, I declare that we are at the end of our agenda and the meeting is adjourned. Thank
All
you.
right, I'm going to turn off recording and thank you